Welcome to a solitaire wargame playthrough from theplayersaid.com. My name is Grant. Today I am doing a playthrough video for Jima 1945 from Worthington Publishing. This is their newest entry in the Island Fight series, which was initially started with the game Tarawa 1943 that came out about 3 years ago. This game is a very simplified solitaire style of war game where the player takes on the role of the United States Marines as they try to invade the island of Iwo Jima in 1945 to ultimately gain the airfields there so that they can do continued strategic bombing into mainland Japan, hopefully in an effort to end the war. The game uses dice up to, I think, the most the Marines can roll is, 7 dice. On their normal attacks, they roll 5. The Japanese are static defenders. They will have some event cards pulled from this deck here that will move units around, do things like infiltration, counterattacks, bonsai attacks, and regular fire attacks. But the goal of the Marines is to, from these initial 4 landing positions, to remove all the Japanese defenders from the island and simultaneously not taking as many losses because those are ultimately going to be negative victory points at the end of the game. Very simple game. I think it's pretty fun, crushingly difficult. I remember Tarawa 1943. I played probably 12 to 15 times. Not sure I ever really won that one. I think once I might have come close, but I think I misunderstood some rules and that was to my advantage. But I've played this one, I think, 3 times prior to this video, not even come close to winning. I did actually almost get all the Japanese defenders off, but I had lost so many men that ultimately my score was negative at the end of the game. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about rules as they come up. We'll go ahead and play the game and try to answer those as we go along. What I would say is I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes in my actions, my rolls, probably how I use cards. Just to understand that this is not a specific rules video, although I'm going to talk about those. But I'm trying to give you an idea and a feeling for how the game ultimately plays. So the sequence of play is very simple. The Marines get 1 action each turn. They get a hand of up to 3 cards called tactics cards that they can play to improve attacks or do extra things. Then we're going to have a Japanese phase, which will include drawing one of these 30 cards, taking its action, and then discarding it and starting the process over again. Over here on the left side, you can see what are called the cohesion tracks for the different formations. They are called out here. Every formation starts with 12 cohesion, and you're not going to be able to see that really well because I've got the dice sitting right here so you can see the rolls. But if that ever reduces below 6 and gets into these orange areas, you're then going to have to perform an exhaustion check at the end of their activation or at the end of a Japanese fire attack if that exhaustion number goes into that orange. Once they're in that level and they fail an exhaustion check, you're going to place a red exhausted cube on them. They will be unable to do anything other than to try to recover or to rotate out and bring up a fresh regiment, if that makes sense. There are also brown bunker cubes that will come out in the game, sometimes for the Marines, sometimes for the Japanese. They make it more difficult because they're actually going to absorb a hit. You're also going to have yellow Japanese infiltration cubes. If an infiltration cube is ever in a location, that location is considered to be uncontrolled by the Americans. So you got to remove those by the end of the game or risk not being able to control the number of positions required. Up in the upper right-hand corner of the board, you will see there are various dice symbols and results. I'm actually going to refer to what's in the rule book because I can't see that stuff. It's way over there. This board is very large and is a challenge to record the game and play it. So just understand it's all printed on the board and makes it very, very easy for you to play the game. I'm actually going to have to refer to the rules because I can't necessarily see over that far. I can see somewhat, but not well enough to be confident. With that, at the start of the game, this is game setup. At the start of the game, the Japanese are going to get one free attack on each of the USMC positions, beach positions, as they come onto the board. That special attack is going to be 3 dice. And then later in the game, if the Japanese attack into a position held by the Marines on the beach, they actually gain an additional die. So it is very important for the Marines to try to get off those beaches as quickly as possible. Frankly, that's easier said than done. What I try to do is focus my attacks on one position that is adjacent. You can see their adjacency lines. You've just got to be wise about that and try to get the hell off the beach as quickly as possible. So let's go ahead. Without further ado, I'm going to turn to the Japanese fire attacks table. Let's go ahead and roll our 3d6 for each of these positions and show you how the game works and get going. So for this position, that is a terrible roll for the Americans. So we refer to this, reduce the cohesion by 1 of the USMC regiment being attacked. Now, there are 3 5s there. That means the Marine 3rd is going to lose 3 cohesion. So right off the bat, they're down to a 9. That was a horrible, horrible roll. All right, let's move on to the next. We rolled a 5 and 2 3s. 3s are not re-rolled, so those are going to be no result. The 5 is going to reduce the cohesion of the 23rd by 1. Not bad. At least we're not losing any blocks. The next, we're going to go ahead and attack. Well, I just opened my frickin' mouth. So we're going to lose a marker. A 6 results in a marker being lost, so that's horrible. We're going to also reduce cohesion of the 25th by 1 down to 11, and the 3 is a nothing. The final attack on the position of the 26th, we're going to lose 2 markers, 2 6s, and a 2 remove 1 Japanese marker from the position attacking. That's a good thing. So we're going to remove 1 of those Japanese markers. Well, and thus you can see why the game is so damn difficult. It's up to dice rolling. You're going to make tactical decisions, but ultimately in the end, the dice are going to either kill you or aid you. And I feel like they don't aid very much. All right, so during my activation, I can play any number of these cards to help attacks. So I'm actually going to do that. Let's go ahead and start with the 3rd. I'm going to roll a die, and then I'm going to choose a regiment to increase their cohesion by 1, 2, or 3. I rolled a 3. We're going to increase it by 2. So we're going to move the 3rds up by 2. That's the first card that we played. I'm also going to play this card called Command Coordination. I now may activate 2 additional regiments this turn for a total of 3 activations. Normally you can just activate 1. I'm going to go ahead and activate all 3. I'm going to activate all 3 of these because I want to get attacks on these positions and try to make some headway as soon as possible. So we'll put that out there, but as a reminder, I'm going to put these red cubes here to remind myself I'm going to activate these positions. I also have this Air Naval Support card, which is add 2 dice to any 1 regiment attack. May not be used to attack a USMC infiltrated position. That's something to keep in mind. And only 1 of these can be played a turn. I'm not going to play those at this time. We'll go ahead and just do a normal Marine attack. So I'm going to activate the 3rd. We need to reduce their cohesion by 1 for taking this action. and then we're going to refer to the USMC die result table. Most of their things are based on getting doubles of certain numbers that are beneficial. That you saw the Japanese, it was just a single die result. Okay, so bad roll again. These fours are locked and cannot be used. They have a no result. That's just a horrible, horrible result. Double fives do mean that I remove one Japanese marker. I'm going to do that. Now, these dice are out of the game. I can't re-roll them. Normally, I can spend an additional cohesion to have dice, any number of dice, re-rolled. In this instance, I did get a loss on the Japanese. I'm not going to push my... there's no reason to roll again, so I'm not going to do that. Let's move on to the 23rd, who is also going to attack position number 2, the neck. They are going to roll 5 dice. Let's hope I don't roll 4 as well. That's crushingly bad. Gosh damn it. Why are my frickin' dice rolls this bad? So I'm going to move those over here. I do get to re-roll a 3, so I'm going to go ahead and re-roll that. I rolled another 3. Oh, and I rolled a 1. That's terrible. I did not reduce their cohesion. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce their cohesion by 1 to do this attack. Now, I'm going to re-roll all this. This is just absolute garbage. I can't re-roll the 4, though. So the 23rd, I'm going to reduce down to 9, and I'm going to re-roll these 4 dice because those results are horrifically bad. Another 4 is locked. I get a 6, a 5, and a 1. That's not going to do anything for me. You need doubles in order to have most results. So I'm going to call that attack good. If I hadn't locked those 2 4s, I might have gone ahead and continued with that. Let's go ahead and do the 25th. I'm going to reduce their cohesion by 1 to attack. I roll the dice, not bad. I'm going to keep those 2 6s because that means remove 1 Japanese marker from this position. I'm actually going to go ahead and reduce my cohesion by 1 more and re-roll the 3 dice. Now, hopefully I don't, well, no result. 2 locks and a 1-2 that doesn't do anything against me. So I do get to remove a Japanese marker from that position. So there you have it. And thus you see why this game is so difficult. All right, end of my activation phase. By the way, during my activation phase, I can do these following 5 actions. Place a new wave from off the board into an open beach position. I can regroup, which is going to recover cohesion. I can rotate regiments, so if there was a regiment in front, I can move them in the back and swap positions with the guys behind them. You're going to want to do that as they start to get exhausted. Movement is simply moving to an open position, and then attack is what I did. Those are the 5 actions that the Marines can take. Let's go ahead and draw the first Japanese action card. A fire attack against the highest priority United States Marine Corps occupied position adjacent to a Japanese position, not an infiltrator. So, and remember, when they fire into the beaches, they're going to roll extra dice. You know what? And I don't remember how we determine highest priority. I think it's just green, red, yellow, and blue. I'm going to make that call. Check the rules. That may not be right. So I'm going to do a fire attack from the neck onto number 3. That's what I'm going to adjudicate that as. They get 4 dice. Remember, they're attacking into a beach position. Ooh, that's not good. So we flip over and we go to the Japanese results. A 1 is remove a Japanese marker, always a good thing. But a 4, 5, and a 6, I have to reduce the cohesion of this thing. I have to reduce the cohesion again and lose a marker. So that was pretty bad. They're going to lose 2 cohesion, so they're down to an 8 just like that. So you can see that extra dice was kind of devastating. That's why it's important to get the hell off the beaches. So we have survived turn 1, and we have lost 4 Marine units. Not a good start. All right, so back to the top of the turn. We're going to draw up to 3 new cards. I'm just going to draw 2. We got a Fighting Seabees and another Command Coordination. That's very, very good. The Fighting Seabees allows us to spread out 3 cohesion amongst different divisions. We're definitely going to do that. And then this Command Coordination I'm going to play to activate the same 3 divisions. So let's put those red markers out to remind us again that we're activating them. I'm going to go ahead and spread out, receive 3 cohesion to raise 1 regiment by 3 or 3 by 1. And then that regiment may be activated this same turn. So the 3rd, I'm going to increase by 1, the 23rd by 1, and the 25th by 1. I'm going to spread that out because I need these guys to somehow get in there and do their job. Then once again, and I'm not going to use this air naval support. I'm going to try to save this for when things get a little tougher. But that may be a bad call. Let's go ahead and attack with green. They're going to get their 5 dice. Oh, good result. 2 6s means I'll remove a marker. A 1 5 does nothing. A 1 2. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Japanese one. I need to go to the Marines. Yeah, single 1 and the single 2 is nothing. The single 5 is nothing. And I needed to reduce their cohesion. I did not do that. So I reduced their cohesion. I'm going to go ahead and take that single loss because that's all that's there. And now I can move in with that group for free. It's called advance. So I'm going to go ahead and advance into that position. And all of a sudden, just like that, I have taken my first position, the neck. Now, not great that these guys are down to an 8 already and they've lost a block, but I'll deal with that as things arise. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with the 23rd onto field number 1. So they're going to attack that way with 5 dice. I reduce their cohesion by 1. We're going to roll those 5 dice. Double 1s means I'll remove a marker from the division, so I'm definitely going to re-roll. I will go ahead and keep those 3 results. I'm going to reduce my cohesion by 1 more and re-roll these. And I rolled another 6, and I get to re-roll this 3. I get to re-roll it again. Come on, a 5. And a single 1, I'm not going to do that. So I inflict 1 loss on this group. I'm going to take that Japanese thing off. I think that's good enough for my purposes at this point. Now I'm going to attack with the 25th, and I'm going to attack on field number 1 because, once again, I want to get the hell off the beach. So the 25th is going to reduce down to 9, and then they get to roll 5 dice. All right, good result. I only need to remove 1, right? That's my goal. I got a double 6, I got a 5, 4, and a 1. The 4 is a locked, a single 1 is nothing, a single 5 is nothing. So I actually killed those Japanese units, and I can now advance after that attack. So you can see, just like that, I've taken my first 2 positions. So that's a good result, and I've only lost 4 blocks, so it could be worse. Now, these guys are starting to worry me. I've got to figure out how to help them. There are cards in there called replacements that will bring out and replace blocks, but I don't have those yet. So end of my turn, let's draw the Japanese card and see what it does. Hopefully not terrible. Each USMC occupied inland, not beach position that is adjacent to 2 or more occupied positions is fire attacked by each of those positions. And each Japanese occupied position may fire at more than 1 USMC position, so this is really, really bad. Fire each Japanese position separately. Do not Does not apply to infiltration. Ignore if there are no applicable adjacent. So once again, each USMC occupied island, not beach, so it's just these two, are now going to, that are adjacent to 2 or more. Adjacent to 1, 2, adjacent to 1, 2. So these guys are all going to get attacked. The third will get attacked by Mount Suribachi and the west side. And field number 1 will be attacked by field number 2, they're adjacent, and the west side. So this is going to be very bad. This is 4 attacks against those 2 positions. That's a terrible card. So let's go ahead and start Mount Suribachi's attack on the neck. And they just get to roll, remember, 3 dice. All right. That's a bonsai attack, this is not a bonsai attack. I gotta make sure I get the right, I think I turned too far. Why am I having trouble here? Japanese attacks, here we go. I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay, a 4 reduces the cohesion of the third by 1. That's not great. A 3, re-roll immediately. And a 2 cancels a 6, so I didn't, there were no, so a 5 reduces that cohesion by 1 more. So they're now at a 6. That's 1 attack. All right, the west side is now going to attack the neck. They rolled a 6, 4, and a 2. This is not good. Okay, two 4s, a 6. We're going to reduce the cohesion by 2. We're going to remove 1 marker, and I can't do anything about that. So we're going to lose a marker and reduce the cohesion by 2, which now triggers what is called an exhaustion check on the 3rd regiment. So their morale is now at a 4. I have to roll a d6, and it has to be less than or equal to a 4. It is. So they do not break. Maybe I wanted them to break, but they wouldn't have retreated. Okay. That attack is done. Now these 2 guys are going to attack here. So these 3, 2 3s and a 4. Those 3s are going to be re-rolled. Come on. Gosh. So I'm going to lose 3 cohesion on the 25th. That's not good. All right, they're down to a 6. So you can see that they're going to get exhausted pretty quick. These guys now will attack them. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm going to show you. Remove 1 marker from the USMC regiment being attacked. 3 6s means they were wiped out. Yeah, that's a horrible, horrible result. And there's really nothing I can do about it. Okay, so that card was devastating. End of that turn. Let's go back to the beginning of my turn. I can draw up to 3 cards. I will draw 3 cards. We have 2 air and naval support cards, which you can only use 1 of those per turn. And then I can receive 3 cohesion to raise a regiment by 3, or 3 regiments by 1 apiece. Let's go ahead and do that because I'm in a bad way. 1, 2. I'm going to raise the third by 3 full. And maybe that's not smart. I'm gonna raise them by 2. Now, wait a second. Either raise 1 regiment by 3 or 3 regiments by 1. So I can't do that. So I'm gonna raise that regiment by 1. I'm gonna raise the 23rd by 1 and the 26th. Am I messed up here? I can't raise. So that's all I can get. I can get those 2. Maybe I messed up here. Yeah, the 25th's dead, so that's the one that I could have raised. Okay, and the 26th hasn't done anything yet. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use an air naval support because I need to figure out how to get the hell off the beach. So I'm going to roll 2 extra dice to this single attack. So that's going to give me 7 dice. So I'm going to attack with the 26th on field number 2. I have to reduce their cohesion by 1. Okay. So let's go back to the Marines. roll table so I make sure I get the right one. Okay, there's the Marine results. I've got 1 5. These 2 4s are going to be locked, which is just so sucky. And I'm going to re-roll the 1 3, and I get another 4. So I'm not going to do another re-roll. I just get to remove 1 Japanese block. I don't lose anything else. That actually is okay. I'm okay with that. So there we go. End of my turn. Let's draw the next hellaciously powerful Japanese card. Tunnels of Iwo. If the Japanese player took a marker loss during the current USNC turn, yes, they did. Yeah, that's great. Place the marker lost on board in the lowest priority Japanese controlled position that has an open marker, even in the position that the loss just came from. Ignore if not applicable. And then we're going to conduct a fire attack using attack priority. Attack priority is simply the numbers on the board. 10 is the highest priority, 1 is the lowest. So this hill and this hill over here, 362 is number 10 and Suribachi is number 1. Okay, now let me make sure I'm, because I feel like I'm screwing that up. Attack priority is at 1 to 10, or is it 10 to 1? I'm now questioning myself. Using attack priority. I can't remember where that rule is listed. I know you guys are screaming at me, stop the camera. Well, you know, that's what you get with the player's aid. I feel like attack priority is lowest to highest. Yeah. I'm going to put the Japanese card down because I know what the hell that's going to do. Attack priority. 1 is the highest. Yeah, so 1's highest, 10 is lowest. All right, so we did lose a block from there. So that is going to go in the lowest priority Japanese controlled position that has an opening. In the lowest. So we'll just go down the board, right? 10, 9, 8, nope. 7, nope. 6, nope. 5, nope. 4, so it's going to go right back in there. So thematically, there were tunnels built on Iwo connecting different positions, and the Japanese here just simply ran a reinforcement over to fill that gap. Now we're going to do a fire attack based on priority. Fire attacks and fields of fire. Okay, so attack priority number 1, position 1 will attack the neck with 3 dice. That's great, and that's a terrible result. Oh my gosh. So 2 6s and a 5 is going to wipe out my third. So it kills them. So I'm going to tell you right now, with the losses that I've taken, I'm not sure I can win the game. I would have to lose nobody the rest of the game, and that's just not going to happen. But we're going to continue playing because the game is fun. All right, we can draw up to 3 cards. We're going to the next turn. I drew Heroism and Medics. Ignore a marker loss. Ignore 1 marker loss. So I drew 2 of those. Boy, those would have been really helpful 5 minutes ago. All right, who am I going to activate? I need to bring a new wave on because I'm in bad shape. Damn it. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and move. I'm going to move the 23rd into the 3rd position here. Reduce their cohesion. They're going to move up to this position. And they had to reduce cohesion to do that. So that's my 1 activation. Not great, right? Not great. But you got to do that. I got to get these positions in to be able to attack. Now, probably next turn, I'm going to bring some waves on. I'm trying to remember how many. Place a new wave. May place up to 2 regiments off board into any vacant beach positions. So I'll probably go ahead and bring in 2 new waves here. Actually, I'll probably bring in a new wave here and a new wave here and start moving. So we'll see what. But that's my turn. Let's draw the Japanese card. You noticed I didn't play any cards this turn. I can discard a card to draw a card if I didn't play any cards, but I'm not going to do that because when these run out, they're out, and there are only 30 of them. Launch a fire attack against the highest priority USMC occupied position adjacent to a Japanese position. So, highest priority would be position 3rd. So they're going to attack. I'm going to make a choice that actually it would be highest priority. Number 4 is going to attack into number 3. So they get 3 dice. Let's hope that the results are good. And yes, the results are not bad. All right, Japanese attack. A single 1, no effect. Double 1's not a double 1. A 3, I get to re-roll that die immediately. Of course, a 6. But a 2 cancels a 6. So that 2 is going to cancel that 6. I don't take any losses. That's excellent. So that was a good round for me. Not going to draw any new cards. Now I get to activate. I'm going to bring on 2 new waves. I'm going to bring on the 24th. I'm going to bring on the 24th right here, and that doesn't cost any cohesion. And then I'm going to bring in the 3-9. Actually, I'm going to try to keep some cohesion between the forces. I'm going to bring 3-9 into these locations. So I'm bringing in new guys so that I can improve my fields of fire. I got to move those guys up, and then I got to do some attacks. I got to get off this beach. That's going to ultimately end up killing me. So let's go ahead and draw a card. Prepared defenses. Add a bunker to the highest priority Japanese occupied position that does not already have a bunker. Conduct a fire attack against the highest priority USMC position from the lowest priority adjacent Japanese position. All right, so we're going to put a bunker, which I think is sucky because that now makes Mount Suribachi that much more difficult. When you attack into a mountain, you get 1 less die, but whatever. So we're going to attack against the highest occupied Marine position. Number 3 would be the highest from the lowest. Number 8 is going to attack number 3. So they're going to get 3 dice. 5, 4, and a 3. I'm going to reduce the cohesion twice, and then I have to re-roll the 3 immediately. So I'm going to reduce the cohesion of the 23rd by 3. 1, 2, 3. That triggers an exhaustion check. They're now at a 5. I rolled a 6. They are exhausted. So now I have to regroup them to try to get them out of exhaustion. So that means they cannot attack. Excellent. Boy, it's just when it rains, it frickin' pours. Gonna be honest. Gotta remember I have those heroism and medics. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and use my air naval support. I'm gonna activate the 24th. Reduce their cohesion by 1, and roll 7 die against the airfield. Hopefully I can get some hits, but of course not. Silly me. Silly, silly me. So I got a 6 and a 5. The 4 is locked. Boy, the dice hate me, don't they? I think you guys have seen my playthroughs before. It is obvious that the dice absolutely frickin' hate me. I can re-roll this 3 for free without doing anything. So that's a locked 4. That's sucky. I'm going to go ahead and reduce my cohesion on the 24th 1 more to re-roll these 3 because I don't want to lose cohesion. Well, I'm going to reduce that cohesion 1 more to re-roll again because I got the same exact result. My gosh. That locks, and the single 2 does nothing. I will stop. Double 5 removes the Japanese marker. So I'm going to remove the 4. Is what it is. I'm making slow, albeit difficult progress. All right, let's go ahead and draw the next Japanese card. Fields of Fire. Boy, this is that really bad one. I think there's only 2 or 3 of those in the game, and I've already drawn both of them. That's awesome. All right. It has to be occupied island positions adjacent to 2 or more Japanese positions is fire attacked by each of those positions. So not beach positions. Field number 1 is going to be attacked by both of these positions. So That actually is not as bad as it could have been. Let's go ahead and they're going to attack here. Remember, I'm exhausted. So Japanese attack results, not bonsai attack, but attack results. A 6 is going to be remove a marker. Well, I'm going to stop that with a heroism. Remember, that stops a marker. And then the 2 3s are going to have to be re-rolled. Boy, amazing. Can I get a frickin' break? Oh, that 2 is going to cancel that 6, so I don't need to use that card. I'm going to take that back. Did you see what happened there? And then I have to re-roll that 3. I have to re-roll the 3 again. So I am going to take a loss. I'm going to have to use the heroism to stop that. They don't lose a block. Okay. Now, these guys are going to attack me. All right, 6 and a 2 are going to cancel. I have to re-roll the 3. A 4 reduces my cohesion by 1, the 23rd. They go down to a 4. They're already exhausted. I don't need to do an exhaustion check. I need to figure out how to regroup them or get them the hell out of their rotate. Okay, back to my turn. I'm going to draw 2 Marine Tactics cards. I drew Flamethrower. Adjust a die result of a 4 to any result, including after rerolls. Okay, and then I play that card after the results after I roll. Replacements. Add a replacement block from eliminated blocks to any one reduced. Okay, that's good. I'm going to go ahead and use that, and I'm going to replace one on the 26th. Because that's going to take... where the hell? There we go. So they gain a replacement. They're still on the beach, which isn't great. I'm going to go ahead and activate the 24th to try to take them out somehow before they get reinforcements. So I'm going to go ahead and roll my 5 dice. I don't have any of those cool naval cards. All right, I rolled a 6. The 4 is a locked. The 6 is wasted. A single one. I did roll 2 5s. I don't need to re-roll. I get a loss. Now, with an automatic loss, I can move these guys immediately into that position. Now, you can daisy chain as well. So, for instance, if these guys attack here somehow and they defeat them and move up for free, I can daisy chain these guys behind them to move up into that vacated position. I think that's a very cool rule in the game, and I think without that, it would be even more difficult than it already is. All right, let's go to the Japanese phase. Let's draw a card, Fire Attack. Launch a fire attack against the highest priority USMC position adjacent to a Japanese position. So a single fire attack. Number 3 is higher. Number 8 is going to attack. They roll 3 dice. Oh my gosh. A 6 is going to remove a marker. A 3 is going to re-roll. And a 1 has to be a double 1 for them to lose. Come on, roll a 2. That's ridiculous. So I'm going to save one of my guys with the hero, and then I'm going to lose. 2 6s are going to eliminate 2. That's just ridiculous. All right, that fire attack is over. At least we survived. I'm going to draw up to 2. I got another flamethrower, and then a command coordination. That actually is very helpful at this point. I'm going to use that and activate 3 divisions. The 9th, I'm going to reduce their cohesion to move up 1 as my first activation. I'm going to do a regroup here. So let's go to the regroup and just make sure that I do it right, because I don't do regroups all that often. 1 regiment adds 3 to its current cohesion. Move the marker up 3 spaces. If the regiment is currently exhausted and the marker is in the 4 or 5, make an immediate exhaustion check. If after the regroup action, the exhausted regiment is 6 or higher on its regiment, you don't have to do that. And that's going to be the case. The 23rd, if I add 3, 5, 6, 7, they're fine. If they were down lower and they ended in the 4 or 5, they do have to do an exhaustion check. So now they're not exhausted. Wow, that was an expensive as hell move, but is what it is. The 24th, we're going to go ahead and activate them, and they are going to attack Turkey Knob. But because it's a mountain, we only get 4 dice. So we're going to be severely handicapped. We do have a couple of flamethrowers that can be used, so... Oh, well, I didn't need it. I rolled 3 6s. I'm going to use 2 of those to inflict a loss. The other 6 is wasted, and the 5 is wasted because it doesn't... But that's a really good roll. It would have been really good if I'd have rolled one single 4, could have used the flamethrower to make that a 5, and I would have killed another one. But that's actually... For only rolling 4 dice, that's an excellent result. So I will take that every single day. Japanese card. Fields of Fire. My gosh. I think there's only 2 or 3. Maybe there's 3 of those, but we're drawing them on. So each occupied island position. So we've got 3 occupied island positions. Adjacent to 2 or more. So they will not be attacked at field number 1 because they're only adjacent to 1. These will be attacked by both of these positions. These will be attacked by both. Okay. Wow, that could have been worse, but that's really bad. All right, Suribachi is going to attack the neck. We're going to roll dice, a 6, 5, and a 3. The 3's got to be re-rolled to a 4. Let's go to Japanese fire attack table. Not the bonsai table, Grant. 6, 5, and 4. Remove a marker. I don't have heroism, so they're going to lose a marker. So you can see it's too easy to lose markers. I feel like that's one of the weaknesses of the game, but it is what it is. And then I get to lose 2 cohesion. Excellent. They're down to a 9. These guys now attack. A 4, 3, and a 2. Okay, 2 2s do nothing, and the 4 is going to reduce the cohesion by 1. So the 9th loses 1 more cohesion, down to an 8. Could have been worse. So now we're going to attack the 8 on the 4s. They roll a 5, 3, and a 2. They re-roll that. They re-roll that. Okay, so the 2 double 2s do nothing. The 5 is going to reduce the cohesion of the 24th by 1. They're down to a 6. Now this attack on field number 2, a 6, 4, and a 3. Gosh, the 3 needs to get re-rolled. All right. So a 6, I'm going to remove a marker. This game is so over. It's incredibly over. The 4 is going to reduce the cohesion, and a single 1 has no effect. So the 24th is down to a 5. They now have to do an exhaustion check. Rolling, they are fine. They rolled under a 5. All right, so we survived that. I'm going to draw 1 card. Fighting Seabees. Receive 3 cohesion to raise 1 regiment by 3 or 3 by 1. I'm probably going to do that, and I'm going to raise the 24th right here by 3. 1, 2, 3. I gotta somehow keep them together so that they can attack. If I can't attack, they're screwed. All right, so I'm going to activate the 26th, drop their cohesion by 1 down to a 10. They're only going to roll 4 dice. I do have a flamethrower. Okay, so this is the result: 1, 6, 1, 5, and a 4. Which is a lock, but I can use my flamethrower. And I have to re-roll that one, which does nothing. So I am going to adjust a die roll of 4 to any number that I want. I'm going to make that a 6, which means I remove 1 of these pieces. Nothing else, no other effects from the lone 5 or the lone 1. Yeah, double 1s have to... Okay, so that was my attack. Okay, that's not a terrible result. I'll take it. If I could somehow get off the beach and into that mountain, I would feel pretty good. Although, once again, this is really bad. Let's go ahead and draw a Ooh, we got a sniper. Roll a die attacking the highest priority occupied position. Reduce that cohesion by the result. So we're going to roll a 6. So the highest priority would be a number 2. So they're attacking the number 2, and they rolled a 5. Sure. 2 losses plus remove a tactic card of hand choice from hand. Whatever. So 2 losses, that kills him. Death. Horrific. And there's nothing I can do about that. Can't stop it. Can't make this stuff up. We're going to draw, the next turn, we're going to draw 3 American Tactics cards. We got a Flamethrower again. Dynamic Command, which is different. Swap positions of 2 adjacent regiments, or move a regiment to a vacant friendly controlled position, or land a new wave. Free move, no reduction. That's pretty nice. Fighting CBs, I'm going to get some cohesion to bump people up, and then the Flamethrower is always, boy, I almost have no Marines on the frickin' island. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and attack the 26th. They're in good shape. We're going to reduce their cohesion by 1 to attack here. They're going to roll 3 dice, knowing that I have the Flamethrower. Two 4s are locked, and I unfortunately can't change them to anything because it would only be 1. This is ridiculous. And then the 2 2s reduce that regiment's cohesion by 1. So we're down to an 8. That was about the worst roll I think I could have imagined. You're seeing it all come together right here with my fantastic playing. All right, fire attack. Launch a fire attack against the highest priority USMC occupied position adjacent to a Japanese occupied position. They're going to attack number 3. 8 is going to attack 3 with 3 dice. A 6, a 5, and a 2. That's not good. At least the game's going to be over quick. Remove a marker, reduce the cohesion, and remove... Nope, that's a bonsai attack. Remove a marker, reduce the cohesion, but the number 2 cancels the 6, so I don't have to remove the marker. I'm just going to reduce the 23rd by 1 cohesion. Not terrible. So that's that attack. I'm not going to draw any cards. I'm just going to go ahead and try to attack again. 526 is going to, and they'll attack with 4 dice into Turkey Knob, which is a mountain. Remember, it takes a -1 die penalty. I do have a Flamethrower. I'm going to re-roll this 3. Hey, I got a 5. Let's see. Let me look at these. I don't think I can get anything good. Nah, a 4 locks it and a 2 is nothing. So once again, I'm just gonna, I defeat that, and then the 26th gets to move into that position. I feel like in the game, if you took a position, I think that would be a morale boost. Maybe you should get a 1 or 2 pip increase. You do with the Mount Suribachi being taken, but good frickin' luck. Good luck, particularly with a bunker there. Okay, so I took another position. That's good, great, yay! This is considered occupied because I was the last one there. That's important for in-game scoring. If there's an infiltrator cube there, it would be considered unoccupied. Okay, Japanese card. Let's go ahead and infiltration. Move a Japanese cube from the infiltrator box into the highest priority Marine-controlled position, which has less than 3 markers. The Japanese control that position. And now I have to attack that to gain. So now didn't I just mention that? So they move into the neck. They kind of take that back from me. At least I don't get an attack or have to be attacked. All right. Dynamic command. Let me see if I want to swap positions. No. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to land some new waves. I probably need to do a regroup. Yeah, these guys are both very, very low. I'm going to land some new waves because I got to get some new blood into the fight. So here the 21st are going to land. And remember, when you land new waves, you get up to 2. And I'm going to bring in the 27th. The Marine 27th. They're going to come in here. Because I think I'm going to swap. So the third is dead. I need to make sure that the 9th is dead. I didn't mark these, and the 25th is dead. All right, I've got all the dead. The 3rd, the 9th, and the 25th. So I've only got one more wave of, you can see this is not going well. So that was my action. Let's go ahead and draw a Japanese card. Fire attack. Fire attack against the highest priority Japanese occupied position, or a Marine position. That's number 3. 423. They have 6 cohesion. Let's see what results we get. A 1, 2, and a 5. A 5 is reduce that cohesion. A 1 and a 2 is nothing. So the 23rd loses a cohesion. That's going to put them into needing an exhaustion check. They're at 5. I rolled a 6, so they are exhausted. And once again, the dice screw me over. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm going to use this card. Swap positions of 2 adjacent regiments, or move 1 regiment to a vacant friendly controlled position, or land a new wave. This is a free thing. I don't need to. So I'm going to swap positions. I'm actually going to swap positions with this exhausted group and bring up the 27th. So I got to figure out how to unexhaust them later and maybe try to reuse them. That was a free action. The 27th is going to reduce their cohesion, and they are going to attack the west side with 5 dice. I could receive 3 cohesion as well. I think I might do that. 24th, yes. So I'm going to play the Fighting Seabees. I'm going to receive 3 cohesion to raise 1 regiment by 3 or 3 by 1. I think I'm going to do the 3 by 1. The 23rd, going to increase by 1. They're now not exhausted. 24th, I'm going to increase by 1. And the 26th, I will increase by 1. All right. 527, they are attacking with 5 dice. Let's go ahead. I do have a flamethrower. Rolled 2 6s. I have 2 4s. I'm not going to spend any more cohesion to re-roll. I'm just going to take a Japanese marker off and call that a day. All right, Japanese card. Please have Fields of Fire. So we're going to get that attack to adjacent positions. Does not apply to infiltrators. That's what I was reading to make sure. Okay, they have to be adjacent to 2 or more. Nobody's going to attack them. Nobody's going to attack them. Now these guys will be attacked. So they're going to attack. All right. Let's do position 5. A 5, 6, and a 3. The 3 is going to get re-rolled. So I'm going to lose 2 cohesion and a block. So the 26th is on its way out. They're down to 6 morale. They're adjacent here. They'll get attacked by these guys. Can I get a roll that's beneficial? Reduce cohesion. And double 2s do nothing. So 526 is going to reduce to a 5. They have to do an exhaustion check. Okay, they have a 5. They rolled a 5 equal to or less than. We're good. Well, we're good, but we're not good. All right, my Marine's turn. I'm running out of cards. I'm drawing 2 cards. Command Coordination and Command Coordination. Good timing. So I get to activate 3 locations, or 3. I'm going to try to activate these guys on the 24th. Probably these guys. I think that's what I can make that decision afterwards. Let's see how these attacks go. So the 21st is going to attack the infiltrators. Okay, that's a good result. I kill the infiltrators, and I get to move into that position. Now, I needed to reduce their cohesion by 1 to do that, so I did that. They're down to 11. These guys are going to attack into their I do have a flamethrower yet. Okay, 2 5s is good. Let's go back here. USMC roll. I wish that I could see the chart up there, but I'm getting old. Double 2s. Reduce the regiment's cohesion. Well, I'm going to go ahead and reduce that regiment's cohesion again anyway and just re-roll those. Because if I'm... So nothing. 2 5s will get 1 hit. So that's good. All right, 424. I'm going to reduce their cohesion and attack there with 5 dice. Boy, hopefully I can somehow... Well, a 6 and a 5 and then 3 3s. 3 3s get re-rolled. I'm going to re-roll those immediately, hoping to get a 5 and a 6. So I did get another 6. That's all I need. A 2 doesn't hurt me, and a 4 doesn't hurt me. So I get to kill those Japanese. That was with the 24th. They are going to move up. And I could daisy chain, but that's not going to help me. Damn it. Oh well. Hey, that was a good result. So I took another couple of positions back, and I'm in a decent shape to now try to go against Mount Suribachi. Let's draw a Japanese card. Troop movement. Move 1 Japanese marker from the lowest priority Japanese position to the highest priority Japanese position with less than 3. Ignore if none, so there are none, because that's not Japanese occupied. All right, that was beneficial. I draw 1 of those dug in, place a bunker in any USMC occupied and controlled island position. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of... No, I'm not. I'm actually 323. I'm sorry, 21. I'm going to attack Suribachi with 321. I do have a flamethrower. And I'm going to build a bunker there. I think that's a good... So I am going to build that bunker. What the bunker is going to do is it's going to take a loss for me, which is... And then it will be removed. So it's a valuable way to... valuable way to kind of preserve your forces. Yeah, they always absorb the first hit. Okay, so I didn't use command. I just built the bunker. Now I'm going to attack. I already moved them down 321 to 10. They get 4 dice against Mount Suribachi. All right, I'm going to use flamethrower to change a 4 into a 6. So I'm going to do 1 hit, which will remove the bunker. Gotta start chipping away at that. So that was all right. So I'm going to go ahead and move to the Japanese turn. Fire attack. Launch a fire attack against the USMC highest priority occupied position. Just 1 attack. So that's the number 2. They're going to attack my number 2. So they get 3 dice. A 6, a 2, and a 1. The 6 would be a hit. The 2 is going to cancel it. I don't have anything. A single 1 is a nothing for the Japanese. Double 1s means they remove markers. So I survived that attack without taking any losses. That's a good thing. All right, let's draw 2 cards. Heroism and Medics. Ignore 1 marker loss again. And then we're going to do Recuperation, which I might need to go ahead and consider. Although 321 is in good shape, 424 is in decent shape, 527 is, for the most part, brand new. 423 is, for the most part, beat up. At least they're not exhausted. And 526 is in big time trouble. They're going to go ahead and hold out, though. I'm going to do a recoup. So I roll a d6. Hey, I rolled a 6. Increase a regiment cohesions by 3. So 526 is going to increase their cohesion by 3. That's excellent. That was a free action. I'm not going to do a command coordination. I'm going to hold on to that. I don't know why I'm holding it, but this scares me to attack with just one. But you know what? I'm going to do command coordination. So I'm going to activate 3 different formations. Activate, activate, and we're going to activate. All right, let's do this one. So they're going to roll 4 dice. Remember, attacking into a mountain takes that away. I rolled 1 6 and 3 3s, which I will re-roll immediately. Okay, I got a second 6, which is a good thing. A 4 and a 1 does nothing. I remove a block from Mount Suribachi. Yay! Much rejoicing. 424. Did I reduce their cohesion? I don't believe I did. 424 is going to reduce their cohesion by 1. They're going to attack into hill with only 4 dice because it's a mountain. A 6 and 3 1s, not good. I'm going to keep the 6, but I'm going to reduce their cohesion 1 more and re-roll all 3 of those 1s. Because that's going to, ultimately those 2 are going to make me remove a marker. Hey, I rolled 2 5s. I get to re-roll a 3, and a single 1 is nothing. So I get to eliminate 1 Japanese marker. That's great. The third and final activation, I'm going to do number 5 here. I'm going to attack field 6. Not a mountain. I get to re-roll all 5 of those. That's just so dumb. Just so dumb. Did I reduce their... I did not. Can't re-roll the 4. I'm going to reduce their cohesion by 1 more to re-roll these 3 dice. And I got a bad result. I'm going to reduce it 1 more and re-roll again. All right, that's a nothing. And now they're exhausted, so they have to do an exhausted check. They're at a 5. They are fine. Not good. All right, well, I gave it an effort. At least I removed a block here. Now watch, there's going to be a tunnels or replacements for the Japanese. Banzai. Banzai attacked the highest priority USMC-controlled numbered island position that is adjacent to an occupied Japanese position. Okay, they can do that. The highest is adjacent to the neck. They're going to do a Banzai attack. So Banzai's attacks are a little different. Let's go ahead and throw that card away because we know that's a Banzai attack. They get to roll 5 dice. And low numbers, single numbers are going to do hits and remove Japanese. We're hoping to roll 1 or 2 1s here. We got 1. Okay, we rolled a 4, 5, and a 1. So let's go ahead and put those, because those are results. Remove all 3s. They are not re-rolled in this instance. Yeah. Single 5 and a single 4 reduces the cohesion, 321. So they're going to lose 2 cohesion. The 1 means remove 1 single Japanese marker from the attacking position. Thank you very much. That was actually very beneficial. I'll take that all day. We're going to draw 2 cards, Heroism and Medics, and an Air Naval Support. So 321, we're going to reduce by 1 cohesion and do an Air Naval attack for 6 dice because it's a mountain. But we need to get a hit here. And we do. We got 2 hits actually. Let's go back. The double 2s are going to hurt me, though. They'll reduce the cohesion. Well, so I do remove that one. We're going to take that, and we reduce the cohesion by 1. That bunker stays, and we do move into and capture Mount Suribachi. Now, there's a special box over here that you can see on the very edge. It says Mount Suribachi taken, so we need to put a red marker in there. Raise all Marine regiments' cohesion by 2. That's very good timing. So we're going to raise that one by 2, and that will avoid the exhaustion check. 424 by 2, 423 by 2, 526 by 2, 423 by 2. I already did that. So that's a little bit of a benefit, and we just took Mount Suribachi, which is the hardest position to take. But we still have 4 positions, and you can see I have almost nothing left. But we'll get there. We'll keep plugging away. Thanks to the air naval support there, we were able to defeat Suribachi and gain some morale or cohesion. That was good. Japanese card, troop movement. Move a Japanese marker from the lowest priority position to the highest to any space. Crap. So they'll move there. Okay, and that's all. Conduct a fire attack using attack priority. I don't think I did the fire attack last time, but whatever. They're going to get 3 dice. A 6, a 4, and a 3 on the Japanese fire attacks. We're going to remove a marker, reduce the cohesion, and we're going to re-roll. We're hoping to get a 2 with that re-roll. Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to have to use both of these heroism and medic counters to stop those losses from happening, and their cohesion is going to get reduced by 1. So pretty much the worst case scenario, but at least I had those cards. All right, let's draw back to the Marines' turn, up to 3 cards. Dug in, Dynamic Command, and Heroism and Medics. All right, so what are we going to do here? 527. We're going to do a Dynamic Command. Swap positions of 2 adjacent regiments. Or move 1 regiment to a vacant friendly controlled position. So that's a good card at this point. I'm going to swap these 2. And that doesn't cost any cohesion. And now, let's real quick. We still have quite a few Japanese cards. The game's going to end once these are out. 3, 6, 9, 12. We have 13 more turns after this one. I'm sorry, 12 more after this one. So we're probably not going to win this. I think I've already said that, but I'm trying to decide, do I bring in a new wave because these guys are almost dead? I don't think I do. I think I'm just going to attack with 527. We'll reduce they're going to get 4 dice. Okay, we got a 6, 2 1s, and a 2. We're going to have to spend a cohesion to re-roll that. I'm going to re-roll those 3 dice. We did gain a 6, so that at least is going to cause 1 additional loss, or a loss to the Japanese, and I have no negative effects. I'm also going to do a dug in. I'm going to build a bunker on this position. And I actually think when you vacate a position, the bunker goes away. Okay, well, that's a better result than nothing. Let's go ahead and draw the Japanese card. Fire attack. Launch a fire attack from the highest priority to the lowest. Against the highest priority, I think. That's 5, so the lowest, these guys will attack here with 3 dice. A 6, a 5, and a 1. So we're going to have to use, the bunker's going to absorb the 6. The 5 is a cohesion loss on the 26th. And the single 1 is a nothing. Okay, we survived. That's what matters. You can see we're running out of Marine Tactics cards. We only have 4 total left. We did get a flamethrower, ignore a Japanese loss, or an American loss, and add a replacement block. Okay, that's actually not terrible. Let's go ahead and do that to the 26th. So we're going to, because that'll help us survive longer. These guys are just going to have to hold out. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the 27th, reduce their cohesion. They're going to attack into Hill 4 with 4 dice. So the 4 is locked, but I do have a flamethrower. I couldn't. I have to re-roll this die. Let me. Okay, I gotta. Gosh, damn it. Well, I'm gonna use the flamethrower to change that 4 to either a 5 or a 6 so that I can do a single loss to the Japanese. I'll take that. I wish I hadn't had to use the card, but I'll take it. All right, Japanese card. Another fire attack against the highest priority position, which is going to be Turkey Knob. They're going to roll 3 dice, a 6, a 4, and a 3. The 3 gets re-rolled. Oh, geez. We're going to save one of those losses. The second loss, we can't stop. And then I think the 4 is a cohesion loss. Yep. 526. So that's going to put them into an exhausted check at a 5. They are fine. They rolled a 5. So they're in trouble. Let's move. We're going to draw our final card. Fighting Seabees. Receive 3 cohesion to raise 1 regiment by 3 or 3 by 1. Well, not sure I really care about that right this second. Let's just hold on. So the 27th is going to activate. They're down to a 6. They're going to attack with 4 dice. Hopefully getting... Nope, that's no result at this point. All right, they got no result. None of those do anything. So that was a total wasted turn. Oh, a sniper. The highest priority position, that's going to be here. So we're going to roll a die. We rolled a 4, 2 losses, and remove a tactic card of choice from hand. Boy, that sucks. And they die. Well, that pretty much sealed my fate. I control that position, but I don't have anything that can do anything against it, frankly. I'm going to bring on some new waves. I only have 1 new wave to bring on. Everybody else is dead. So I'm going to bring the 28th on for free. Now let me look at that. That's called... That action is called Place a New Wave. That's my action. Just putting that one there. Got to move that into that position. Banzai attack. Highest priority USMC controlled position. Adjacent, so that's going to be here because there's no guys there. All right, they're going to roll 5 dice and refer to the Banzai table. Please roll low. Lots of 1s and 2s. A 6, remove a marker. 2 5s, reduce that cohesion by 2. Another one for the 4. And then the Japanese marker will kill themselves. And then I reduce my cohesion by 3, 527, 1, 2, 3. They are going to be exhausted. They're at a 3. I got to roll. And they are exhausted. But they held their position. Good job, guys. Got to figure out how to get my butt in there. All right, no Marine cards, so I'm just going to take my turn. I'm going to do what's called the swap. What was that called? Rotate. I'm going to rotate 424. I don't think it takes any... Let me just double check. I don't think that takes any... One of the 2 regiments must reduce cohesion. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce the 527th to a 2 and move the 24th up. So that's my action. I didn't do a good job of keeping a human wave coming. I could actually move these guys over. Add a bunker to the highest priority Japanese occupied space and then conduct a fire attack against the highest priority Marine position. So their highest... Well, they can't attack me, but I am going to put a bunker there. That's very interesting. So now I'm going to go ahead and do a move. So I'm going to move the 28th. That reduces their cohesion by 1. They're going to move up there to get into position. Move a Japanese cube from the infiltrator box into the highest priority USMC controlled island position with less than 3 markers. Highest priority, well, that would be here. So they've now infiltrated the neck. Yeah, whatever. Does it say do a fire attack? I got to double check that. Nope. No fire attack, which is a good thing. All right, so I'm going to activate the 21st. Like 321. They're going to attack into the neck with 5 dice. Trying to get rid of those infiltrators. Okay. I get to re-roll a 1 or a 3. Okay, I got to spend another cohesion down to a 5 to re-roll. I'm going to keep the 6. Can't re-roll the 4. I'm going to re-roll these. So I just need a 6. All right, now I have to re-roll these. I did get a hit. I do have to re-roll, and that's a nothing. So I did remove, and because they won, that in essence is a free move, and I move up into that position, which now leaves Suribachi vulnerable to infiltrators. Whatever. It is what it is. All right, next Japanese card, Fire Attack. Launch a fire attack against the highest priority Marine position. That's going to be a 5, so they're going to roll 3 dice. And the rules don't say anything about Japanese attacks into mountain areas, so I'm not going to reduce their attacks. Maybe I should. A 6 is going to be canceled by the 2, if you see that, and then a 4 is going to reduce my cohesion on the 28th. I'll take that. Okay. 424. What's their... Boy, they don't have a whole lot left, do they? Well, I'm going to go ahead and move the 424th up to that hill to take advantage of that. I reduce their cohesion. That's their turn. Prepared to add a bunker to the highest priority position without a bunker, and then do a fire attack. So they're going to get a second bunker in the hill position there. They'll do a fire attack on the 28th with 3 dice. Okay, a 6 and a 2 cancels. So that's it. That attack did nothing to me. That's good. All right, we're going to do the 528th, and we're going to attack into field number 3. It's not a mountain. Reduce their cohesion by 1. We get 5 dice. Really need a couple of hits. Hey. So I'm going to reduce their cohesion once more. I will keep the 2 5s. I'm going to re-roll all 3 of those. So we do get rid of the bunker. That's it. So we did a bazooka and got rid of the bunker. Sniper! Awesome. Against the highest priority Marine occupied position. That would be number 2. We're going to roll a die. A 3 means 1 loss. So we lose a guy. See, I mean, these cards are just frickin' brutal. Just frickin' brutal. Okay, the 528th is going to reduce cohesion and attack there again with 5 dice. We don't have much hope of winning this, guys. Double 1s for Marine Corps attacks does what? Remove a marker from the regiment. I have nothing. Got to re-roll this one. I'm probably going to take a... Okay, I got 3 5s. I'm going to reduce my cohesion 1 more because I don't want to lose another marker to roll those again. And that comes up nothing. So I do get a hit with 2 5s. Japanese card. Fields of Fire. So they're going to get attacked by both of these. This is going to get attacked by both of those. It just never gets easy. 3 dice there. 2 and a 6 cancels. That's a nothing. That's good. And the 1 is a nothing. Let me make sure that single 1 does nothing for the Japanese. Yep, no effect. This is going to attack here. A 5, a 4, and a 1. Reduce that cohesion by 2 total. So now they have to do an exhaustion check. At a 4, they are fine. These guys are going to attack there. With a 1, 2, and a 4, the 4 is going to reduce my cohesion on the 20 by 1. That forces an exhaustion check. They succeed. Then these guys attack. 5, 6, 6, and a 2. That cancels. That's a cohesion loss. Now they need to do an exhaustion check at a
5 and a 4. Okay, so they become exhausted. And I did that because you're supposed to do it immediately when you move down into the orange, when you're being attacked by the Japanese, not the other way around. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to do a regroup because I can't attack because I'm exhausted. So, one regiment adds 3 to its cohesion. These are both exhausted, right? No, the 528th is exhausted. So we're going to add 3 to their cohesion. 1, 2, 3. That gets them up to a 7. They can now do something. But that's my turn. All right, Japanese card. Banzai attack. Highest priority USMC controlled position. That's going to be against Turkey Hill. So they're going to roll 5 dice against Turkey Hill. Please roll 1s and 2s. That is amazing. 3 1s on a Banzai attack. Means all 3 of those... Well, hold on a second. Let me read the highest priority numbered island position that is adjacent. Okay. It doesn't really say. I'm going to make adjudication, and you can tell me I'm wrong. I'm going to say these guys attacked. It did not say. So all 3 of these units killed themselves in the Banzai attack, but I have to deal with the 6 and the 5. So I have to remove a marker and reduce a cohesion. Better than a sharp stick to the eye. So that may have been a little cheaty, but it's not really clear. Okay, what's my turn? The 28th is going to attack. So they're going to attack into there with 5 dice. Need some good rolls here. That is not what I needed. I get to re-roll the 3 for free. Let's see what we get. We got a 5. I will keep that. 2 1s and 2 2s are going to be bad for us. I think that's lose a marker and reduce cohesion. So I'm actually going to reduce cohesion one more time, which now puts me into exhausted. I'll keep the 5. I'm going to re-roll all 4 of those dice. Yeah, of course. I'll keep that. That gets locked. I'm going to re-roll one more time. In fact, I'm going to re-roll probably really stupid. A 1 and a 2, and then I roll the 3. Hey, I got a 6, but that doesn't do anything for me. So that was a total wasted turn. I now have to do an exhaustion check at a 3. Oh, not exhausted. Excellent. Okay, 3 more Japanese cards. We're coming to an end. Infiltrator. Move a Japanese cube to the highest priority USMC controlled position with less than 3 blocks. So now I don't control Mount Suribachi anymore. That sucks. My activation. 321. We're going to attack Mount Suribachi with 4 dice. We just need 1 hit. And of course we got nothing. Got a 6. Going to reduce that cohesion to re-roll these. Hey, we got 2 5s, so that's enough to get rid of the infiltrators. I'm not going to move into that position. I don't think I have to. Yep, so that was my action. Let's do the Japanese card, 321. Oh, they need to do an exhaustion check at a 3. No, I already did that. Didn't I just do that? They're exhausted. I think I didn't do that. There we go. Tunnels of Iwo. If the Japanese player took a marker loss, they did not, because that infiltrator doesn't count. And then we'll conduct a fire attack using normal priority. So they're going to attack there with their 3 dice. 6 and a 2 cancel. The 3 gets re-rolled. A single 1, I don't think is anything for the Japanese. No effect. All right, so now we go to my final. And I think having exhausted guys at the end of the game is bad, so I'm going to go ahead and do a regroup on the 27th. They still have to do an exhaustion check at a 5. They are good, so they're no longer exhausted. This Japanese troop movement. Move a marker from the lowest priority position to the highest priority position and then conduct a fire attack. So they're going to move there, and there's going to be a fire attack. A 5, a 6, and a 1. Not good. So let's go to remove a marker and reduce cohesion. Can't do anything about it. Reduce cohesion, and we do an exhaustion check at a 3. They are fine. That's good. Now, the final Japanese card has been played. I get one more turn, and then the game ends. I'm going to regroup the 21st, because once again, I think that having guys exhausted is a bad thing. All right. Well, please don't play the game like I did, but there you have it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the victory section, right? Victory points are totaled. Marines receive 2 VP per USMC-controlled island position. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. We don't control that because we never moved in. So that's 14. Not good. No Japanese cards remaining. 2 VP per USMC marker eliminated. My gosh. 2, 4, 7, 8, 11, 14, 18. So they've got 18 to our 14. They get 3 for each control, so that's 9. They've got 27 to our 14. And the 1 VP for USMC regiments exhausted, they don't get that. So they have like 27 to our 14. So this is a devastating loss. A Japanese win. So they won the battle, and that's never a good thing. But there you have it. Hour and a half playthrough of Iwo Jima 1945. I think you guys got an understanding for what the game is. Very simple dice chucker. You're making decisions about how to use your cards, what actions to take, when to press your advantage, when to hold off. Pretty simple game. Not going to blow your socks off, but I do very much enjoy this game. I played Tarawa about a month ago after I got this and loved that one just as much, although this one has been changed slightly. Some of the attack dice results are different, but I like this one as well. Great game, great history, very much enjoy it. So there you have it, Iwo Jima 1945 from Worthington Publishing. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts, point out any mistakes that I might have made, and thank you for watching again. So I've been Grant for the Player's Aid.